everyone to today's sessions, and my name is Zoel. I'm the host for today, and together with me, I have Professor Dr. Ahmed Ibrahim. So maybe from the poster, from the internet, we can see a lot of information about Dr. Prof. Ahmed Ibrahim. He was the former CEO of Science Academy Malaysia, Academy of Science Malaysia, and currently professor in UCSI,
Professor UCSI and adjunct
adjunct
professor at
okay, as his center.
University Malaya.
Yes, you have a lot of impressive title, but what I impressed the most is really the how you down to earth and also brings a lot of theories and intellectual knowledge to relevant to the community. For your information, a small insight is Prof have a superpower. For me, it's a superpower where he can really produce a lot of writing. If today you have a discussion with him, and tomorrow, most probably, you will see an article sharing through the WhatsApp community and also published in the column in the newspaper and different media. So I experienced a few times in our youth event in the family business. So Prof. Dato, maybe you say hi.
Actually, hello, good afternoon, and I'm happy to be in this discussion. I call it more a conversation about the topic that has been suggested. But actually, when I write, it is part of my lifelong learning. I go and look at papers on the internet on various topics, and I write about this. And this way, actually, I learn many topics.
Yeah.
So that's how it's my lifelong learning.
It's really impressive. So, Dato Professor, in your point of view today, the objective is really to explore how the innovation ecosystem can actually help our family business operator. Today, we have quite a diverse group registered for the Zoom meeting and also to get the YouTube link later. We have group from public. We have a good response from the family business and also researcher of the field because we want to explore how this innovation ecosystem relevant also the researcher. So perhaps we make it clear about what do you mean by innovation ecosystem?
Yeah, innovation ecosystem. As you know, innovation now is the driver of most business, whether big business, small business, you need technology, and you need to develop the appropriate technology for your business. Now, in the development of technology, first you need the technology researcher, the one who does research. This comes from academia, universities, or research institutes. Then you have a government. Normally, a lot of R&D in many countries are funded by government. Of course, in some developed economies, the industry themselves also fund. But small business, the most that you can get is from government in terms of R&D funding. Now, for the R&D to reach the market, because at the end of the day, the small business want to create value from the research which is done by the academia, funded by government, and and finally we have also consumers, the society, the business group. So we call this the innovation ecosystem because they have to work together. You have to generate the idea for the research. You need to fund this research, and you need to move to the market. So if there's no ecosystem, then we hear a lot about research remaining in the universities. It's not going to the market. And this actually is a disappointment because the government funding is from people, including the small business who pays taxes and all this. So what I have actually written a lot for the country is we need to have the right innovation ecosystem for different areas of business. For example, those who are doing energy business, then we have to have an energy ecosystem. Or nowadays, we talk about let's say the emerging business is a semiconductor, you know, but there are suppliers to this, small business supply to this, food business. So by having this ecosystem where they talk to each other, the players talk to each other, government, the researchers, the small business, and the consumers talk to each other, first to generate ideas about the research. And the research will be market driven because the small business will know what they need, what the market needs. And they also know what the business needs in terms of improving their productivity or reducing costs of production. So all this come together. So if there is this talking among this ecosystem, the players, then the ideas are relevant. The ideas that are produced are not just ideas from their researchers who has no connection with the market.
Yeah.
So the problem now is that's why our commercialization is rather low, because a lot of research are not market driven. So this innovation ecosystem is what we call the quadruple helix. Four used to be a triple helix, but now they've added in the consumers, the other third sector.
Yeah. Yeah. So today we have different audience listening to this recording through YouTube Live or joining our Zoom room on live. And for friends who joining our Zoom room from live, the benefit is you can ask questions later. So you can utilize the chat box and then to ask questions. So today we also have when it's talk about ecosystem, which means that we have different actors coming together with different function, and then it's actually enhancing one another productivity. So, Prof, perhaps we can give a little bit of explanation about what is this quadruple helix for those who are from the private sector, the family business. This is a very academic term.
Yeah, quadruple helix actually is referring to the actors. Quadruple means four: government, academia, business, and consumers, the people at large. So quadruple helix. So they started with triple helix. They left out the consumers. Now they see that the consumers also have a very important role to play, to not only to give back their feedback to the business, these products I need, I need this different kind of better products, those kind of things. So now they have quadruple helix. So if we do not have this helix kind of four actors coming together, then there will be a problem not only in generating ideas, but also in moving the product to the market. You know, so in fact nowadays, if you talk about circular economy, it talks about partnership between the different players in the supply chain. Because so it's a similar concept. It's just collaboration so that it will be jointly benefiting from the outcome of the investment in research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So perhaps our friends, you can actually indicate also if you are from the private sector, if you are from research field, and if you are just general public, attracted by our face in the poster, the town in, then we can know how to actually make this conversation more relevant to you. So the quadruple helix is also actually mentioned in the 13 Malaysia Plan by the government, that this is the strategy to actually mobilize resource effectively. And therefore, if you are a researcher in this field, perhaps you can look into this. And this is really a policy-driven research field that we can explore more. A lot of research is needed in Malaysia about the quadruple helix, how to enhance the effectiveness. And if you are family business in terms for your long-term sustainability, strongly encourage you to look into the quadruple helix, which includes why this actor coming together is important. Perhaps, Professor, you can give us some insight. Why having government agencies or government policy in the ecosystem, in the business is matter to them?
No, because you see, funding for research, it is uncertain, right? Funding for research, you're not certain whether it will produce a product. So there is some risk there. So the person or the group to take the most risk is government. So government is everybody's money. So, but if the product is good, then it's good also for the economy. It's good for the business. So I actually studied a lot about the system in Germany. Germany, they have this the Fraunhofer group, the Fraunhofer network of researchers. And I've been sort of their representative in Malaysia for many years. They have 75, 76 institutes all over Germany, and they work very closely with the small business, family business. Because for big business, big corporations, they have their own way of generating the information or doing the research. For example, if you look at the big semiconductor electric companies in Malaysia, the one that is coming from US or Germany, they already well established in terms of the innovation, their own innovation ecosystem. But I'm talking about the small business, which form the bulk of our companies. They are the one who's going to make a difference to the economy. If they can bring in new products, new processes, improve productivity, then it's going to be a big support for the economic destination. So this is where I think what we need to develop the ecosystem. Nowadays, we can use the digital ecosystem. Because I have actually raised many times for the government to create what I call focal point for different technology area. But to get it to be done physically is quite challenging because a lot of these research entities, they already established with their physical brick and mortar. So I think if we can create an ecosystem, small business with the government, academia research and the people, then this can actually stimulate a lot of new ideas, and we can the government can invest in research that finally will deliver value. Yeah, that is important. Once it's commercialized, when I say commercialized, it's not just commercialized for generating money, also commercialized when it is used by society, like technology on the environment, all this. So this is something that would benefit the country, the economy.
Yeah. I think Prof. Dato, you have touched a very, very important point. First, a lot of our economy is generated by small business.
Yes.
And the majority of SMSE in Malaysia are run by family business. We know that the family business runs in a different or a unique, I would say that unique features because they are a lot of the family business, the operator themselves, they are colleagues. At the same time, they have family member. There is a lot of social emotion and banker together. I trust you know the best, right? When you come to do the decisions. And also a lot of this MSME, M stand for the micro SME that I'm referring here. Research for them seems very far. Right? Because we do not have enough budget to actually hire or work with the research team to have our in-house research team. But what this podcast or this webinar want to bring to the family business, even you are in a small scale, even you are do not have enough budget to run your in-house research team, I think one thing is really look at the direction of the government. That is the importance of having government in your innovation process, right? That like what you said just now, the money, the tax, the policy, the incentive driven by the government is actually, they have the budget if it is aligned with the government direction. Right?
Yeah, in fact, I have been exposed to a lot of research and innovation in rubber and palm oil. So I worked many years in these two industries, and I've seen family business started a family business are now conglomerates. They are big corporations. But as you rightly say, the family business must come to a stage where they have to have some involvement of other professionals. But again, the ecosystem plays a role. There are many big rubber corporations, palm oil especially. where the initial research is done through the ecosystem with a lot of government and also sharing among the industry. So like palm oil, they have this, all industries contribute to this research money and the government support it. Then they do research on what is needed in the industry, palm oil industry. But over the years, I see that these companies have also established their own research. Yes, so they become in a niche area. Like I know the KL Kapong, IOI, these are started as family business. Yes. And but they have grown, so they have more professionalism. In fact, their family also. I know the KL Kapong, I know the chairman, Tan Sri Lee. I just recently met his son, who is a professional chemical engineer. He is now in charge, Lee also. And I asked him, he studied in Imperial College. So this is how family business will have to change also in terms of getting in a professional people to be part of the system. So this is
I think you touched a very important point that many people do not aware that government actually have some incentive or policy to encourage the private sector, the industry player, to work together with university.
Yes.
They have subsidies. Yeah. And it is always, I feel it is a good way actually leverage on this benefit and to explore the what research is really relevant and benefit to the industry. Yeah. So this is a scheme that we can.
That's why the innovation, the ecosystem is very useful. For example, I have seen that one of the problems of products reaching commercialization is they don't go through the scaling up process from lab to scale up to pilot plant to demonstration plant. So this is where institutes like the Malaysian Palm Oil Board, which has contribution from industry, palm oil and rubber board. And they actually, when they want to develop a new process, a new product, they go through the stages. Start with the lab. One example is a biofuel.
Okay.
The palm oil biofuel now is fully a commercialized thing. And I worked in the palm oil research for a few years as well. And you see the way they develop the technology from the lab, then they have pilot plant, and then commercial trials, then finally they come out with the necessary policy to commercialize. So these are things where small business will have to come together to actually make this happen. So I'm not sure whether the government can create an ecosystem of small business, small business together with the other parties, government, research, academia, and the consumers, then start looking at new potential ideas to move as products or improve processes. And the government can come in initially with the funding. Yes. So I think this is thing that I've been trying to get to happen, but to do it physically is a struggle because there are already entities in place and to bring them together is not easy. So I think I just stumbled into this of a digital platform, digital ecosystem. But somebody must manage this and you must have proper discussion, especially on determining the directions of the research, the idea that you want to pursue. So this is the opportunity.
Yeah, indeed. Actually, the digital technology given us a lot of new opportunity. This is also a way of innovation. Like today, if without the Zoom that to bring us to very low cost to conduct these sessions, we won't have a chance. We have about in a very short time, we have about a list of people registered for today that
they can ask questions.
From the general public, from the family business, and also from the researcher from the field. And this is what technology enable us that to do it. And for having this kind of discussions, it's like what we have mentioned. The four the four actors coming together, they are playing different roles.
Yeah.
The government, they can actually drive the direction through the incentive tax system and also to give the Malaysian vision. While you have mentioned, quite emphasized that the family business, the industry player play an important role to commercialize the idea.
Yes.
If without this actor in the team, a lot of things might be in the lab or might be in a concept idea stage. Well, researcher is very important. Maybe, Prof, since you are being a researcher for many, many years, may I get your insight and also help our general public and also family businesses to understand why research is important and why researchers are important as a strategy partners in enhancing their competitive advantage.
Well, as I mentioned, the business world is very much driven by technology innovation nowadays. Technology to reduce carbon emission or technology to save on the resources that you use, more resource efficient. This is what we are moving toward, the circular economy. The circular economy is something that is starting to come in a big way. In most of the developed countries, Japan, Germany, China, Singapore, they already are going big into circular economy. And this is an opportunity that I think the small business can also participate in. I actually have been involved in the oil palm biomass to energy project, and I see that there is some problem with the technology, the boiler technology, and I have managed to get in touch with some young companies looking at different technology to develop the heat or the electricity. So we have approached a few companies because all they want is they want to see a demonstration plan. They want to see whether it works. And they're not convinced just looking at lab. So I managed to bring together these groups, and we are talking now to actually establish a pilot pilot facility for this kind of technology, where industry participate. They contribute to us. So if this arrangement shows success, then we're looking at other technology as well. So this is where I used to work for Technology Park Malaysia many years. And I told them, this is what Technology Park should be doing. Because they should bring together all these helix, the quadruple helix.
Yes.
And one of the area I see that industry, if they are to be convinced, is to see the technology working. So you have to have a pilot facility or a demonstration plant. So this is what we're trying to do at UCSI University to see whether we can get together another ecosystem to actually scale up and commercialize technology for the good of the economy.
Right. Actually, researcher and also commercial or family business, I say it's a good match. That a researcher, they did a lot of literature review. They study what has happened in this area. And this is where we can really leverage on researcher brain. They study a lot and then they do the experiments and then identify the new method to address the problem effectively. And this is what that the researcher can really support the family business to make your process more effective. After all, when we talk about innovation, we have the introvert and we have the say that the closed innovation and open innovation.
Yes.
Right. So the Prof, maybe you can give a little bit of explanation what it is innovation about.
Well, innovation is, by definition, is a new idea that will deliver value. That's innovation. So it can be business innovation, not just technology. Social innovation, a new idea that you can bring to practice, which has value for society, for government, for companies. So that is innovation. So innovation always starts with ideas. So that is key.
Yeah.
But how you generate that idea? This is where the helix comes in. Together, they will think about the best idea to invest in the research. So when you are investing in the research, the first thing is the idea is about what problem you are trying to solve. The problem statement, they call it. And when they are clear on what problems, then they look at what has been done in the past. There's a literature review.
Yeah.
They look at past studies, the researchers, what can they learn, what are the gaps. Then they start coming up with their own plan to do experiment, do trials, and that's how the research works. And then when they produce the results, first, they will share it in the journal because they want to validate their findings. In the journal, the other experts will look at your results. And if they like it, they will cite the result. So there's an indication, it gives confidence to your result that it is something which can move. After that, then you have to publicize it to the business, to the community, to investors, so that they put their money in for the scaling up. So this is the process. But if you look at big corporations, they have all these mechanisms in place. They have their marketing network, they have this feedback, they have their researchers, they have the funding. So I think in Malaysia, if small business can show to the government that investment in this kind of research ecosystem is going to uplift the performance of SMEs, which can even go for the export market, then the government will put in more investment in R&D. Now our R&D has been sort of at 1% of GDP. And the plan, 13 Malaysia Plan, they say 2.5%. But this 2.5%, they have said many times, but it's not gone up. But if we look at the big developed economies, they can go up to 2.5%, 3%, even 4%. Like South Korea, how did South Korea come up to be such a big innovation leader? They were beaten by us in the soccer game those days. Yeah. Because my brother used to play for the Malaysian team, and he always beat the Korean. But now they are World Cup, and so investment in this technology business, creating big business, also helps the other sectors of the country, sports and all this. So that's why I actually quite I'm convinced that if we can increase the amount of allocation for R&D, and the R&D ecosystem can be improved with participation of a small business. And this can actually be a lot of beneficial for the country, economically, environmentally, sustainably.
Thank you very much, Prof. Dato. I think that is the reason why we are here. So, friends who are joining us online in Zoom, in live. So, once again, welcome you to spending time together. And if you have any question, this is the privilege, the premium benefit for people who join us online, on live in the Zoom room is you can ask questions. And also, this video is live in the YouTube. And for those who are watching this YouTube later, why we are here? So we are actually advocating for ecosystem to get the practitioners, the researcher, the government, the community to work together because we believe in the power of ecosystem. And allow me to introduce myself again. My name is Zoel. I'm from the MySDG Academy, and together with me is Professor Dato Ibrahim. Sorry, a little bit nervous sitting of a big giant beside me, but with very, very humble, I would say that make a lot of high level things practical to the community and also give a lot of visions. So, Prof, we have talked about the getting together, leverage on the technology that enable us to build ecosystem, which is getting different actors work together for the benefit of the development to enhance competitiveness. And just now you have shared with us that under the 13 Malaysia Plan, we are looking at the 2.5% of GDP in the research budget. Currently, we are only 1%. And that is a huge appetite, but there is also a huge gap. So perhaps now is the time for our researchers who are listening to our webinar today. What is the suggestion and advice to the researcher that how do we actually fit the appetite of the government R&D, and when they look for the research topic, is there any tips from you?
Well, again, back to the ecosystem. See, researcher, if you are working outside the ecosystem, you tend to develop ideas based on your past knowledge or your own network, but you're not addressing the ideas related to the needs of the market. Understand? Because I think one of the reasons is that in universities, for example, their KPI is more to train new PhDs or to publish. And then this commercialization KPI is not being emphasized too much because the ecosystem there, you cannot blame the researcher because you don't have the ecosystem of interacting with the industry and with the consumers. Government, okay, they provide the money. But what is missing is how you relate your research to what the market needs, you know? And so this, I have actually come across some projects. There was a big project on the microalgae in one of the universities, and this under the Japanese Malaysia Corporation. So it so happened I've been asked to be on the evaluation panel. Evaluation of the research, not evaluation to approve the research. So I asked them, because this program is about commercialization. So I asked the researchers, they have been doing the research on this microalgae for a few years. Then I asked, who is your industry partner? And they said, no, we only do the research first, then we look for industry partner. So I said, that's not how it works. You must get industry partner early in your research, because while you're researching, the industry may have changed. The business, the market may have different requirements. So this is fed back to the research. So if you don't have industry partner, how do you get that? So this actually, sure enough, the commercialization, they're struggling to commercialize. It's a good project. They produce good microalgae with the Japanese. And then, but to move it to commercialization, it's been a struggle. So this is where I think the researchers, they must actually embrace this kind of partnership. But I also do not blame the researchers, because the ecosystem again. One of the areas that is required is the laboratories, the equipment. These are very expensive items. It has to be shared. We must be sharing. Like if you go to palm oil board, it's for palm oil industry. Rubber, but the other industries, they don't have this kind of shared laboratories. And this idea has been raised many years before. No, we must have shared laboratories. Nowadays, it's even more urgent because I see there are many talents now in private institutions, private universities, and they have problem assessing facilities because it's not cheap to invest in this equipment, especially the expensive one. So I see in the US, and the model that I see in the US is that they have shared laboratories, like for energy research. They have a big laboratory, and every 5 years, they will tender this for a private company to come and operate. Operate, that means the universities which do not have research facilities, they can rent out. And the same kind of companies do the research. So again, back to the ecosystem, the focal point, the alliance. And it's very clear, we see the palm oil cases. if the government did not establish the palm oil board, I don't think the palm oil industry will be as it is today.
It's true.
Yes.
It's true. It's true.
So now I've been writing to also do the same thing for the other sectors. Like now we're talking about the rare earth sector. So this is where a small business will always come in to support the supply chain. So yeah.
Can you say that one piece of chopstick is very weak, but will come together as an alliance and the ecosystem is very, very powerful. And also I have a good news to you that Prof. Dato, our number is increasing. Okay. I see live number increasing, but Zoom number also increasing. So friends who are just entering to this Zoom room, welcome you. I'm Zoel, the moderator of today. And together with me is Professor Dato Ahmed Ibrahim, a very senior researcher and also professor in UCSI and also adjunct professor in Ungo Assist Center and a lot of. The most important thing is, I think she is in the very senior researcher position. At the same time, he's really working to make the intellectual product relevant to the community for the national development. So the benefit of joining the Zoom live is you can ask questions, and I received one questions in the chat box, and I will address it very, very fast. But I just want to do a recap of what we have discussed just now. From what you have just shared just now, Professor, I think one thing I learned is in the ecosystem, and especially today we are talking about the Quadruple Helix ecosystem, we have 4 different actors. The government, the researcher, the industry player, in our case, is family business, who are also the colleague and family member together who share a uniqueness, emotion uniqueness in their context, and also the community. They are coming together. They are playing different role. We have talked about the role of government, the role of researcher, and the role of industry player. Later, we will talk about the role of community, why it is so important. And from what we have discussed just now for the benefit of those who have just joined us, that we can see government set the direction, support with incentive, policy, taxation, and etc. And we also have a lot of scheme actually encouraging the industry and the research center to work together. Secondly, correct me if I'm wrong or you want to add in anything. Secondly, research is a very, very, I would say, a details and careful scientific work. They start with literature review and then do a lot of work and then publish in journal and then verify with citations and throughout the process. And this is what that the industry can actually leverage on researcher to really think through your question deeply. Right? A lot of time when we are busy with the market needs, we see the tendency, we see the direction. But in order to have time to really look at what had happened in the past, how to do it effectively, this is where the role of researcher helps. Am I correct? And the researcher need the industry player, we need the family business, the enterprise to come together to actually make the research valuable. It's practical, right? To apply it in the system. And also you have mentioned about the lab, the facilities that needed. Right, a lot of research you may need the facility, the lab to work to actually carry out, and this is where the ecosystem can actually bring in different resources, bring in different expertise to make things run more effectively. We are doing this webinar. It's not for me. It's just a one-time webinar. I'm really looking forward to build an ecosystem between the Helix model, the different actors together with the industry player. And thank you very much to being our first batch of audience. And maybe you are not aware of what you are heading to, but I welcome you. Actually, I'm trying to get build the ecosystem together for the benefit of our productivity in next. So now, let me address to the chat box. The question in the chat box, and we welcome any question from you. This is, I would say, that is a very precious time to have Professor Dato together with us to share this. So let's see what you have. Any questions, welcome to ask. So Rani, welcome, Rani. Dr. Rani, I think one of the solution providers is taken. Okay, welcome. Rani is asking about, I've been curious to hear about the pro and cons of adopting the quadruple helix model in the context of innovation and impact, the pro and con, since it has been around for some time. While some think tank in places like the UK still use the triple helix model when talking about economic growth. What is your point of view?
Well, it started with Triple Helix, where government, academia, and industry. But then there was a realization that the consumers, people who are buying, and civil society and NGOs, so they can also influence the direction of the commercialization. So this is where countries like Germany, they've gone Quadruple Helix, Japan, so the thing is, we were talking about innovation. One thing that is very important is the linkage between these parties. One of the problems we have is the very difficult to get people to work together. This is a common problem in Malaysia, where we silo working and all this, and this is not going to work. So that's why my suggestion is to create some kind of a focal point ecosystem where we focus on the key areas of the country, like energy or water or whatever that is key to the economy. Oil and gas, of course, is phasing out. So rare earth, all this will come together. And the thing is, if small business, through the involvement of small business in this kind of ecosystem, we can demonstrate to the government that all this research is actually generating value. I have actually worked also in some like SIRIM. This is one thing I've told these government entities who do research. You should not be competing with the small business. When you are doing research with government funded research institute, you must be working with the small business. For example, this area of creating machines for food sector, Karipap, all this. So I had some problem with when I was in SIRIM. I told them that you have to work with the industry in Balakong, because they're the one, because to me, they are at an advantage. They work 24 hours a day. SIRIM will work 9 to 5. Okay. And the other thing is, when you are a small business, you buy your material using tender, you have your way to get the best price. So how can you compete? So instead of competing, building your own, making your machines to sell, you should be doing research to give them some new technology. Develop. I know that in Taiwan, they have the similar institution, E3. That's how they operate. And in Germany, I told about Fraunhofer, they work with small business. They actually help develop the technology to spearhead like in machines and all this. And I'm familiar with Fraunhofer, for example, in the biomass to energy technology. There is one institute which is very active. They work with small companies to make aviation fuel and all this. And they have lab plant, they have pilot plant. And in Germany, they have this shared funding. See, 30% of the fund comes from a German government. 30% where they have to bid for European money and all this. Then 30% they get a contribution from industry. So that's how they work. But they have to serve the industry. The project, if they do not help or sort out the problem of the SMEs, then they will not get this funding by Germany. So there is a thing that it need to happen. Of course, Germany started many years ago, but Malaysia can start to have this kind of ecosystem and slowly improve. this is one thing I tell policymakers, that we don't expect to have a perfect policy from the start, because a policy from the start is based on current information, current knowledge, current assumption. But when you implement the policy, when you execute the policy, then you start seeing the gaps, you improve. And that's how the policy matures and start delivering. So one problem with us, we always want to have the perfect policy before we, and sometimes, oftentimes, we don't execute it well. And there's not much monitoring. So we need this loop, the quality loop, I call it.
Yep.
Quality improvement loop, where you design a product, make the product, sell the product, use the product, then you monitor the performance and feedback to research.
Awesome.
So this is something really
awesome. What I heard from the sharing just now is the benefit of the quadruple helix coming together is really to build the loop.
Yes.
From research to implement and monitoring.
Yes.
And why it is so important, another good signal for researcher and also for industry member is for researcher. It fits the appetite of the funder. The funder want to see their $1 is benefit to their intellectual development at the same time in the practical value. Right. And then for the SME, if you are new to the research and you are now want to explore more about leveraging on the research to enhance your competitiveness, we can actually share, there are actually schemes to encourage industry and the researcher work together. Sometimes we may not have enough budget to have our in-house research team, but let's leverage on this kind of scheme and also partnership with university. This will really benefit to your company, to the researcher, at the same time to the whole country development. I have a friend. We are actually just now you mentioned about to target a few core things. So for the information of our new friends who join our Zoom and also YouTube, I'm from my SDG Academy. So we are a platform that to build awareness and also capacity about SDG, Sustainable Development Goal. So if you are wonder what important targets to achieve, then I would say please look at the 17 SDG. But what I want to try to bring in as a case study is we have solution providers who are grassroots community, who running small business. The company only have 2 and 3 people, but they dare to explore partnership with the university. This is what they share with us. When they explore the partnership with the university, some research has been done and put in the shelf. Has been almost done the PhD research projects or the final year research project with very small cost. I think around 10,000 to 15,000. They managed to buy the formula of doing the cosmetic with
formulation.
The formulation with the cosmetic, very unique cosmetic, and they package it and they sell to the community. This is one of the way to actually leverage on the strategy partnership in the Helix, right? And why the community is important because they are monitoring. Right, they play an important role in monitoring. Then we talk about the positive side. Now, a lot of people talk about positive side, but the question from Rani is also the negative side. So what is the negative side that you see about the quadruple helix model?
Well, the negative side is more about trust, because I think there is still some deficiency in trust among the players, especially the business and the researcher. You have to build this trust. I noticed that in Germany, they have over the years, they have built this trust. Whereas I see, that's why when I was in Syria, I told the researchers, go and to the Interact, give them free service, to solve their problem. No need to charge, because we have to build the trust. The local industry must believe that our local technology research and providers can satisfy what they want. So this comes over years of collaboration, working together. So trust is one. And of course, one issue is what is required of researchers. We have to develop the kind of communication between the researchers and the public, the consumers, the industry. When I say public, society is business, is consumers, is policymakers. So oftentimes, scientists, we tend to stick to the easy part, which is to publish in journals,
share in the conference.
Share in the conference. But we're not reaching out. It's not so easy to reach out because you have to simplify your message. But you need this. You need to convince industry that your research has value. You need to convince the people in parliament that you should support research, and you need to convince the people. And especially now, as we move to circular economy, all the more reason you need to engage the people. So I think this is where the KPIs of academic institution must look at this feature. You cannot be just publish or perish. So you have to have these different elements, which actually try to give more vigor to this kind of collaboration and the ecosystem that we spoke about.
It is true enough that in any effective strategic partnership, communication and building the trust is a big chunk. It's important, and also it takes a lot of effort. And now you are not just communicating as a researcher. Many of the researchers are from the institute, academic institute. Besides of communicating with your students, with your fellow, with your management, now you need to communicate with the government, to the society, to the industry. That's a lot of work, frankly speaking.
So like in my case, I'm working together with a few partners, even former minister, like Mustafa and all this, that's exactly. We have created this group to do conversation.
Yes.
Plan of Sustainable Malaysia. We just want to do conversation about issues of the country, all the food security issues, climate change, science for sustainability. We do many things. Even we sort of have conversation. What is happening in the Conference of Parties meeting that's happening in Brazil and everywhere. So we get people to converse, and this create more awareness. When you create more awareness, then they see the value of investing in research, in technology, in generating information. And we have been doing this for the last 2 years. And I must say, it has been very, very enlightening and very useful in terms of. So what I do is, after each conversation, I will write something up. I write what was deliberated, and then I share it. And I'm so lucky because now the University of Malaya, they have this group actually which will distribute your articles to all the media.
Can we submit to them as well?
Yes.
Really?
Because mine, I put under Unko Aziz Center.
Okay.
So they have this team.
Okay.
So I think all universities, they have a team which actually collect all articles and distribute to. So nowadays, my articles appear in all kind of person. Those days I only sent to Swiss Time and the Star. But now, that day, my friend, Dato Ong, he called me, hey, I see your article in the Sinchu.
Sinchu!
They translate it. And so this is a beauty. I think scientists, they have to communicate to the people. People here include business, include policymakers, include the general public. You have to convince them that investment in research is worthwhile. So this is where if we can do this, then the policymakers will vouch for us in Parliament. You want to increase the amount of R&D funding, this can happen.
And I think one things that I enjoy very much when every time I have dialogue with Professor Dato Ahmad is his work is always like a sunshine. Have a lot of hope and a lot of positiveness and looking forward for the future. I think what make this is you really see the potential and the opportunity. So Dato has shared about the Friends of Sustainability. And we actually have 2 platforms. and is led by our former minister Topa.
Yeah.
So Professor Dato is leading the coordinating for the plan of sustainability, while I'm helping in the partners in accelerating SDG. We are gathering government agency like DOSM, Pusat SDG Negara, Urbanist, and also like Yayasan SDG, and also different university. We have quite a number of universities together, private sector, and also APBGM, SDG, My SDG Academy, building the platform together. What I learned throughout this journey, 2 years working with TOPA and the stakeholders in the ecosystem, I will say that one thing, although communication take a lot of time, although building trust take a lot of time, although it seems difficult, but something amazing is along the journey, as long as you try, you might always meet a lot of kind people. They're actually very easy to approach and work together as long as you all have the same value, shared vision.
Yeah.
Right? It seems difficult to actually build partnership, but the reality is as long as you try, you might amaze with, hey, why the people are so kind? They are so open for partnership and also to collaborate. So this is really a real life experience. And I strongly encourage you, regardless you are a researcher who are trying to expand your network to build different helix partnership, I strongly encourage you, we did it. And we are here to together to work with you to actually build up the ecosystem because we see that is so important. If you are an enterprise while trying to see how to leverage on the power of research to make your company more sustainable, have the competitiveness, I strongly encourage you to reach out to us or to find. You can actually go internet and find out more about the scheme that available to actually foster the partnership between industry and also the researcher. I just want to take a few minutes to share one case study. Then I have the questions from the chat box. So, Prof, you can actually read and prepare for it. The case study is my friend's farm. My friend is running a vanilla farm in Penang. Okay, Kairos. So I run a vanilla farm, and from the first day until now, it's a young startup. I think it's 6 years old, young startup. From the first day until now, he get about 1.3 millions of funding. And many of it is from the research fund. Research, including researcher who fund him about 1 year. I don't know whether he's listening. I'm telling all the secrets. He gets 1 year free resource person to actually look on the plantations grow. And also from another university, from Xiamen University, from this public university. And recently, he just got one staff whole year free. I don't know how it worked out together, but the research grant as well to work in the farm to help to collect data and monitor it. So there's a lot of benefit actually working together between different actors in the helix. And while engaging with civil society organization like us, I'm from CSO and GO background, we can actually bridge it together with the community needs, the community sentiment that to get more buy-in. This is the role of the community as well. So strongly encourage you to actually be hopeful about building up ecosystem with the technology we have now. We are actually anticipating whether we can come out a digital ecosystem to get people together to make every actor's value to amplify, or say amplify the values of each ecosystem through the digital process. Okay, so now, Prof, are we ready to take the questions in the chat box?
What is the question, sir?
Okay, so it's from a friend of us, Mr. Khairudin. Okay.
Oh,
all right.
Khairudin.
Hi, thank you for dialing. I really encourage to see the numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the R&D, C&I ecosystem, intellectual property rights have been a concern in Malaysia. Could Prof. Dato please elaborate how other countries resolve this IP problem? It could apply in Malaysia generally for small business in particular. Okay, the intellectual property rights.
Well, you need to have agreement. You need to have agreement from the start. How are you going to share your intellectual property. And with the government, I think this should not be a problem. In fact, in the US, at one time, researchers were not allowed to commercialize findings from government-funded research. But they changed that. This is a very famous Bayh-Dole Act, they call it.
Bayh-Dole Act.
Bayh-Dole Act. Bayh-Dole Act. It's the name of a person, I think. So from then on, researchers at the universities, although they get funding from government, they are able to undertake the commercialization to get benefit in terms of patent and all that. So I think this has to be sorted out. Of course, it is a very important point that we need to sort out in terms of who owns the property, if it is something of value, IP, patent, and all this. But there are ways to do this, and one, of course, to agree from the start who is going to share what. But at the end of the day, the idea is to move the value from research to the market. So who is best to do it? Who's best to take charge? So if you look at Korea, South Korea, they have a system where university researchers, when they develop something, they can go out for 3 years to commercialize. And if the commercialization is unsuccessful, they can come back to university. So this, I don't know, I mean, Malaysia should look at, but it is a very important issue. How do you handle the partnership, the sharing of the IP?
Chinese says 先小人后君子. So in a translation, which means that just lay down everything clear from the beginning. Okay, regardless what, and then only we can start. We start the partnership, and everyone happy. Time is really flying, Dato. Then now it's already 4:34. Okay, we are ending soon, but against that, I'm really encouraged to see the Zoom is increasing the number, and the people are staying with us. From 8 now we have 2 digits. Okay, all right. But I will. The benefit of joining the Zoom live is you can ask questions if you have any questions, or since we are coming to the end, I have 2 more questions, and then of course, if anyone from the Zoom is interested to ask any questions, you are most welcome. But also, if you are encouraged by the actually what we have advocating, let's build effective partnership. Let's build the ecosystem, the Quadruple Helix ecosystem for the benefit of the country development. You can actually utilize the chat box to introduce yourself. This is also a way that you get people to know about you. Utilize the chat box. If you are a researcher in the field and you are open for collaboration, you can share with us your research topic and direction, and maybe we can find synergy. If you are industry looking for some partnership with the researcher, perhaps you can share in the group chat box as well. You might not get, but what if you happen to get some researcher looking for a partners and have the fun, and it's a bingo. I see another Rani. Okay, thank you very much, Rani. You are really encouraged to us. Okay, so
So Rani is from what? From university or what?
So Rani, perhaps you can share where you come from in the chat box as well. All right. Okay, so Datuk, while we are waiting, if anyone from...
In fact, I would like to suggest, I think this is only a start in this conversation. Maybe we should have a future conversation to talk about specific sector.
Specific sector?
Yeah, so what you do is, let's say, among the food business or whatever, then we invite some industry or academic analysts who look at the industry. They will sort of set the scene about what are the issues in this industry and what research you need.
Wow.
So that way, then we can have a conversation, discussion.
Give me inspiration.
Yeah.
So I get an industry.
Yeah, get industry. Then tell us in the conversation, what do we need in this industry in terms of technology or what research? Then get sharing and we discuss.
So, Prof. Dato, will you moderate the session together with me?
Yeah, no problem.
Like Prof. Dato is everything, no problem, let's do it. And also, of course, I have to thanks the people who are together with us in this first series, although that we are just starting to do it, but with your participation, it's really encouraged that we move forward. It makes this conversation meaningful. So, Prof, I have two questions. If they before we end this sessions. So is I reach out my two questions and then you decide which one to go first. All right. One is for our researcher and one is for our entrepreneurs. One, looking ahead 5 to 10 years, what capacities or ecosystem conditions will determine whether Malaysia family business remain globally competitive? All right. So, in what do you vision in the 5 to 10 years? If let's say this ecosystem really happen, okay. So let's do some imagination. And the other question is, if family business owner who join us today, to remember one message from your sharing, what is your message to them?
Well, for the researchers, I think we are fortunate because we have the digital technology which has emerged. And this actually is a big enabler to create the ecosystem, you know, because to have physical infrastructure is it takes time. So now we have all these different gadgets and even the analysis can use AI now.
Yeah.
So this can actually generate more discussion and conversation. So for the small business, I think they have to start looking at joining our conversation, looking at your business area. You can propose. For example, there may be people in the small business of logistics. Maybe they want to talk about what will be the future in terms of logistic business and what technology we need, what research we need to do. And now I'm involved in this study at Quasi Center on Circular Economy. One of the big emerging business is reverse logistics.
Reverse
Yes,
logistics.
so
Yeah.
where the waste will bring back for reprocessing or whatever. So this is an area. So what needs to happen? What skills need to be built? So this kind of discussion, small business must get involved. You know? And nowadays, with all this digital platform, it's not difficult. You don't have to travel to Shah Alam or it's all from your house, from your office. So this is the beauty, and I think. But I believe a lot in the conversation that we need to have constant dialogue about issues of relevance to the business, especially on R&D innovation, so that we do the researchers from the universities also we get good feedback. What is it that the business want? What is it that the market wants? So this will enrich the ideas. So look forward to.
Thank you so much for Prof. Dato. And it's true enough that in Malaysia we have this kataan say tak kena maka tak cinta. All right, and we have to have more dialogue so that we can know one another better and also discover the value of different actors in the ecosystem.
Yes.
Right, and sometimes you will really amazed when you keep trying, keep doing. Like today, I'm quite surprised that Rani is actually currently based in UK. So do you know about this conversation and to dial in? It's really beyond my expectations, and I'm surprised and welcome you and others who are staying with us who have signed up for this webinar and also joined in our YouTube live. Thank you very much. We really we didn't expect much, but we know this is something worth doing.
Yes.
And from today's conversation, it seems that more to do.
Yeah.
Right. But it's always good. Then, Prof. Dato, perhaps we do a recap. By time is almost. If there is no more question, then we can do a recap. So, is there any summaries or recap that you would like to share?
Well, I think if you look at the business nowadays, we know that technology innovation is critical.
Yeah.
We're moving into that kind of era. So small business, in order to benefit from this new development, they must sort of enter partnership into the right groups, academia, government, and all the ecosystem, join the ecosystem. And I think with the current digital economy, this actually makes it easier.
Yes.
And so we should take advantage of this. At the end of the day, if the small business in Malaysia can actually be more productive, generate more, it's good for the economy. And this the income will go back to research. So this is where I think we need to have this to invigorate interest from small business to participate in this kind of conversation and actually contribute to the ideas.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you, Prof. Dato. First, the appetite for research is still huge. From 2.5% of our GDP and currently is only 1%. That is a huge appetite. And also, I think we have to start looking into research is a mechanism, or I would say a strategy tools for us to accelerate our competitiveness.
Yes.
Right? Research is not a boring stuff, but in fact, if we have a good partnership, we have the real scenario, not the stimulate scenario, a lot of assumption, but a real scenario, a real case, a practical need for the researcher to conduct the process scientifically by being serious in the literature review, finding ways to find out the answer. It is actually very benefit. And by having the ecosystem, that getting in the policymaker and also the CSO, it can actually enhance the productivity among one another.
Yeah.
Right? And innovation is always important because it helps us to actually break through first our inner process, to break through our current process that we are having, that to be more effective, or the current use of the steps, the current use of material, or break our boundary. So we have this like closed innovation and open innovation. So
at the end of the day, we want the whole society to be innovation literate.
Yes.
So that the whole society will always be looking for new ideas, which is where.
Yes. And also like what Prof saying that let's leverage on technology. By having Zoom facilities, by having the AI back as now, we can achieve a lot of things with low cost.
Yes.
What my mentor, Professor Dr. Dennison, always smile at is like, Zoom makes everything so easy. She can actually have a shorthand and then together by having a webinar with us. Right. So thank you very much for friends who take your time, invest your time together in this webinar. It's really grateful to have you in our first webinar, the Exploring the Quadruple Helix Innovation Ecosystem with the family business and also researcher. So I'm your host today. My name is Zoel. I'm from My SDG Academy, a platform that to raise awareness about SDG and also sustainable development. And together with me, I have Professor Dr. Ahmed Ibrahim, the professor from UCSI and also young professor from the University of Malaya. And most important is he can really make a lot of theory, the deep theory, the complicated things, easy to reach to the community. Right. Thank you very much to friends here.
You.
Thank you. Bye bye. See you again. Bye.